Show.
How's it, sticklers? You know it's the Joystick Show, where three brothers from Hawaii have gathered to talk story about things we've read, watched, or played. Shakas on my hollows for sticking around. And if you fancy what you hear, please like and subscribe on the platform you frequent. I'm your co-host, Drake. And that's Thomas.
What up, what up?
And that's Scott.
How's it?
And today we've got a litany of things to talk about. We have a couple of things to talk about in news. We'll get to review Thomas's LACC and or LA Comic-Con trip. We'll talk about how Taylor Swift is the Time Person of the Year. A little bit of Godzilla Minus One's success, and Max and A24 have signed a deal to give us more things for viewing. We've also got a little bit of trailers with The Boys Season 4, House of Dragon Season 2, Godzilla by Kong, and GTA 6. Pew pew. And lastly, we'll close out with some reviews where we'll go over Dumb Money, Gran Turismo, The Killer, and of course, Invincible. So, with that being said, remember, like and subscribe.
There you go. Oh, his programming just short-circuited. Reboot.
Reboot him.
Yes, so LA Comic-Con was this past weekend, and it was a blast. You know, I was super fortunate this year to go to a bunch of different cons. I did DreamHack, I did San Diego Comic-Con, I did BlizzCon, but LA Comic-Con is always my favorite. Like, it was so nice. Like, you know, friends and guests that we've had on the show this year were there. Getting to hang out with a lot of those people in person was a blast. I was 10 feet away from Natasha Leo Bordizzo and Ivana Sakno from Ahsoka. I was, you know, less than 10 feet away from Matt Smith from House of the Dragon, Morbius, you know, Doctor Who. Right. You know, really close to the Lord of the Rings guys. Like Sean Astin was looking me in the eyes, and it was crazy. So it was just a blast. It always brings out a ton of talent. It's so awesome that the strike is done and that these actors and writers can get back to doing what they do and also talk about their work. That was all fantastic, and just so much good, incredible comic book creators out there. Man, it was awesome. I love this event.
Well, if you could name one moment in that event where you look back at it and you go, this is probably something I'm going to take home to the bank, Shorty, what you drank, what would that moment be?
Yeah, I think you guys know about it, but this was obviously because I texted you right after. But, you know, for me, being a fan of the movies, but probably, I mean, and truthfully, a bigger fan of his podcast, Fat Man Beyond, seeing Kevin Smith and being able to talk to him and take a picture of him was kind of surreal. You know, I don't always really get starstruck, but I think that one, man, I was kind of nervous. And he was doing this panel for the, I think it's called Hope in Comics or something like that, but it was basically like cancer in comics. So they had a cancer survivor who writes comics. There was a cancer survivor who basically just had this crazy ordeal, and then the head of the Cancer Institute for Research, and then Kevin Smith. And so they were just talking about all these crazy examples and how comics can provide a place of hope and really a place of comfort for people who are going through traumatic things. I mean, I guess that's how I really related to it, because one of the guys there, Jason, who had stomach cancer, you know, really relied on Marvel and DC and Star Wars to kind of get through his darkest times. And you guys know that's something I've really fell back on, but also like doing this podcast. So having that moment, getting to tell Kevin Smith and like these two giant security guards are like pulling him out, you know, lead blocking for him. And I ran up, I was like, Mr. Smith, can I talk to you really quick? And, you know, he turned around, was super gracious. I told him his, you know, my story. His mouth was just like, like wide open. And like he was, you know, freaking out kind of. And long story short, he ended up taking some pictures with me. Super amazing, incredible dude. And yeah, then security like pulled him out, and then there was like a line of people behind me that he just was like, "Bye, everybody," and left. So I was lucky enough to like be the person that snuck in front and to talk to him really quick. And yeah, I think I'll always kind of remember it because he was so awesome, so nice, and yeah. And then he leaned on me and like made some funny faces. So that was cool.
That's a highlight.
Follow-up
Yes.
question: was he taller than you?
He was not. He
Okay.
was, yeah, maybe like 4 inches, 3 inches shorter, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah. I think people, I don't think I'm that tall, but it's funny. Like, I think when I meet people in real life, they think I'm shorter than I am. So I don't know if I just look like that. Maybe it's like how pudgy my face is getting or something. I don't know. But people think I'm maybe shorter than I am.
Short person
I,
energy.
I can imagine when, some of the people listening to the show meet Scott, they're going to be like, what the frick? Like, dude, why are you
he's
so
so
tall?
tiny.
Yeah. He's so tiny and petite. Would have never guessed.
Dude, sometimes I
But
forget. I'm not even that tall, but sometimes I forget that I'm like taller than especially down here in Hawaii. Like Christine
yeah,
is like really small. When we stand next to each other in a mirror, I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, we are like so different in sizes.
Well, you know who's
my
taller
God.
than all of us?
Again, Yao Ming, man. He's a
Time
tall
Person
dude.
of the Year,
Oh.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Oh, can I just
Oh.
say a few other things
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
of
about LA
course.
Comic Con? A lot of amazing panels too that were great. But also like, uh, we have like a longer recap and stuff coming out. With the Geek Freaks, I'm not sure if we're gonna add it to this or not. If you hear it, it'll be in the front of this episode, so that will be also there too. But check us out on social media because I try to recap every day. And the cosplay was insane. Like people went out so hard on the cosplay, it was phenomenal. Like man, just people did such a good job. And there's like more stuff that we'll be posting. So yeah, check it out on the socials. That's it.
Sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift.
So, yeah.
Are you guys surprised?
No.
I don't. Yeah, right. Like I'm not surprised. Like of course she's Times Person of the Year. Everything she touched this year turned into gold,
She's the
including.
Elon Musk. Including what?
I was gonna say including like Travis Kelsey because like who even
Oh,
was that
yeah.
guy before Taylor Swift?
Oh, my goodness. We all know who
Can
Travis
you even
Kelce
play
was.
baseball?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah. He's so good at the sports balls. But like
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. $1 billion on the Eras tour. Her movie was like one of the top movies when it debuted, which is
yeah,
insane.
insane. And then
Like,
the fact that like when I found out like any town she enters, she just like ups all the business like she's the Olympics or something. Like it's
Right.
fucking insane. Yeah, that's crazy.
She's a force to be reckoned with. She's definitely like an Elon Musk or like a Jeff Bezos, but of like pop culture.
Totally. I mean, between movies and music, and I mean, there's like no part of the zeitgeist of pop culture that she didn't touch this year.
Yeah.
In our sphere, or at least in my sphere, particularly, like everybody is wondering if she's going to be in Deadpool 3 because she's friends with Blake Lively, I guess friends with Ryan Reynolds too in a way, and like yeah, and then she was just saw seen at one of the Chiefs games with Hugh Jackman with the director Sean Levy, so the chances there that she's probably going to be in
Wow.
the
I
movie.
feel like it's really high. We know Ryan Reynolds is a good businessman, and like, why wouldn't you put this person right now who's like
Yeah.
hotter than ever in your
People are
fucking movie?
gonna-
You're gonna bring people who don't even like. I don't even care about Deadpool. I just
I
love
just want to see
Swifty,
Taylor. Let's
and
Yeah.
drink
just they're gonna buy a
breakfast.
ticket. Like it's gonna be
Yeah.
crazy.
Do you think there's any
100%.
point where he just like kills her off in like the first 5 minutes?
Of course.
You
Of
think
course.
she just gets her head chopped off or something?
Yeah.
Oh my god! I
I think
wonder how
maybe
that's
too
gonna.
brutal. I don't know.
Do you think like
Um,
Swifties are gonna like freak out if that happens?
No, I think Swifties are gonna absorb it, just like how Taylor Swift has worked with SNL and done those like
That's
funny
very
parody
true.
songs.
She's
Like,
familiar with how comedy
yeah.
and all that works. And
Yeah,
Oh.
and like it helps build your brand. Like when Drake does funny stuff, like he's funny. He's a funny dude. So just
Yeah.
bring it.
Yeah, totally. I just watched that. What is it called? Like first person shooter. It's like a new Drake J Cole song, and
Oh,
in
uh-huh.
it they're like dressed as Spider Man, and then they shoot basketballs like into space and make it's like so ridiculous and over the top.
Yeah.
But like the song is absolute fire. Like, yeah, these celebrities. I mean, when you're at Drake or Taylor Swift level, it's like you can kind of do whatever the f you want. I feel like it's yeah.
Yeah,
She's a
just like
beast.
just don't be a bad person, and you're pretty set. after
Right.
that,
Just
right?
don't be a complete shithead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, anyways, that's Taylor Swift.
Cool.
Incredible. Not surprised. Person of the Year. Times Magazine's Person of the Year. Godzilla minus one. This is something that a lot of people didn't see coming from what it sounds like, and yet shouldn't be a surprise in a way. The original studio that owns Godzilla and the rights to it created their own movie from a Japanese studio, and it debuted worldwide at 38,913,778 dollars. It is booming. It's gotten a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes at the time of this recording. Dude, it's everybody that I've seen who's seen it is saying like this is the best Godzilla movie I've ever seen. I know none of us have been able to watch it. Like, does that make you guys more or less excited to see it? Why do you think it's doing so well?
I mean, I remember rewatching Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla like over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And the reason why is because of like the intrigue of like look at all this small intricate detail in this kind of sort of low budget for the time.
Yeah,
Or
it was
high
just a
budget for
dude
the
in a
time
suit,
situation.
right?
Yeah, just a dude
Just
in
a
a
dude
suit.
in a rubber suit.
But they did such a great job at like telling the story and showing through the movements of the suited up people. Like you cared, and I think this one pays homage to that in a more modern way from what I've seen and what I've read. So I think that's why people are about it because it actually gives you back that nostalgia while still marching you forward.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it like looks it like has that classic feel of an old Godzilla movie, but the CG and everything are like it's it's like real modern, but not so like the new Godzilla Kong, like where it's like it feels like it's overproduced. Like it feels like it's a good mash between like Godzilla's done right, and then all like the regular people part have that like the regular people being filmed have that feel of the old kind of Godzilla films.
Yeah, I think
And it feels
overproduced.
cool.
Yeah, overproduced is kind of the right word. Yeah, you're right about that.
Mm.
I'm like, how do you explain it? But I think that's the perfect way to explain it. Because like something about it is like almost too polished in a way that and it's so over the top. It feels like Fast and the Furious for the
Yeah.
MonsterVerse.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Like it's
And
weird.
it's
Like
like
yeah, when certain things are too overproduced, like I feel like it's like my excitement goes up, and then when it's like overproduced, it starts going back down.
mhm.
Like oh yeah, like when the Transformers starts getting like too crazy and like at this point we're not impressed with the visual. Like we're impressed with the visuals, but we're like, okay, we've seen great visuals now story. So like, but once the
Right,
story starts going, you're like, all right, I already seen badass Transformers. Like you're like spoiled in that sense. You can't help it.
right,
So yeah,
yeah.
I'm excited though. This movie looks really good. I need to find time to go watch it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
likewise. Mark, who does the podcast with Kevin, also, he was saying that he's like 100%. He's like, this is a movie you got to see in theaters. And he's like, he doesn't say that all the time. He really doesn't say that. Like, I don't think he said that for a Marvel movie this year. I don't think he said it. I don't even remember him saying it for Oppenheimer. Maybe he couldn't talk about it because of the strike, but still,
Mm.
like him saying that is like, oh shit, okay, I'm getting to the theaters to watch this one. Plus, it's a
Also,
Japanese studio.
yeah,
Mm.
but also, I think Mark rented out the movie theater for Kong vs. Godzilla with his family, I believe,
That's
during
true.
the strike. So I think he might be a really big fan of that. So
Yeah,
for
they're friends
that,
with the guys who own movie theaters, so I don't know if that really counts either.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. But the fact that you could have rented a movie theater out for any movie, he's like, I'm going for that. Like, and this is a good story, it seems. So even better, right?
yeah, man, yeah. It looks phenomenal. Like, just I wonder how this doing so well affects Godzilla X Kong, which we're getting into trailers in a second, because like that is gonna be the big studios push for like the new Godzilla movie, and like with this doing so well, I wonder if it changes anything with that movie. I don't know, but
Yeah,
I would say they have to probably take notes from it, right? So I don't
yeah.
know. We're actually jumping into it because that movie's done by Max, and today we got breaking news that Max and A24 are signing a post-theatrical run deal. So all movies after they're in the theaters are going to be ending up on Max that A24 produces, which is to me is big news.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like A24 is so hot. Everything they do gets lauded. It gets gets its flowers, gets praised, and even if it doesn't make like a bajillion dollars, people are still amazed by what A24 is doing and allowing new creators, new directors, new writers to like flourish in it. It's going to be really interesting to see how this works out, and I think it's a really smart move for Max. What is your guys' take on this news that just dropped a couple hours ago?
I think that's awesome. I mean, the fact that I've heard multiple people, not just us, kind of see a style of a movie and say, even if it's not A24, like, oh, it feels like an A24 film. Like,
Yep.
and there's a reason
Yep.
that's a saying, right? Like,
Yeah.
they're fucking, yeah, they are hot right now. And that's awesome for Max, especially because I'm seeing more and more Max things drop on like Netflix now and stuff. And it kind of makes me worry that it's going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
This might be, I don't know what it's like behind, all the things we don't
In
know
the
about, but
office rooms,
yeah. But
honchos.
hopefully
Right.
this is like they're like, oh, let's take a step into this direction when we get to stay around, like, and I think it'll help.
Yeah, definitely. What is your take on it, Drake?
I think it's from a consumer point of view, it adds a lot of value to if they're going to be exclusive per se. Um, it's going to add a lot of value to Max as a whole.
Yeah.
I really think, I mean, A24 Studio has always kind of been really innovating, and Max, to a degree, is a very antiquated, home box office. You had to pay for it back in the day, and then you would get those late night sensual movies, but then you would have all the great comedies.
Which they don't even have on Max, so giant
Exactly.
miss
Giant miss.
there.
And so I think A24 is going to help both of them stay relevant, like Scott was talking about too, because A24 is relatively small. But longevity for both, projects for both. If HBO can help give that A24 even more money, A24 can continue to survive and thrive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's a super, super smart deal and benefits both studios and the
Yeah.
streaming app equally. So for sure, it's so sick. And A24 has some awesome movies dropping next year, but we got to move on to some trailers. The first one was the Saturday of Comic Con. It dropped The Boys season 4 teaser. We're getting more of The Boys. I mean, we're getting all the
Yeah.
blood and gut. We're seeing Homelander just as unhinged as ever, and like with nobody to get him in check. That was my take from watching this trailer.
Yeah.
And then more of the boys just trying to kill Soups. What did you guys think about it?
I just excited. I mean, the only thing I can really say is that I'm super excited to continue on, even with not necessarily having watched Gen V and then getting into just watching the final episode with all of our discussions. It's made me rekindle that appreciation for the boys. So to be honest, I'm just excited to watch it.
Yeah, same. And I can second that with Homelander in the background, like the chaos is erupting and he's just like smiling and stuff. Like he's just, yeah. I can't wait to see more Homelander be fucking an a-hole and more of the boys trying to stop him.
Yeah, isn't it weird? He's like, again, I always use this example, but like the Joffrey of it, and yet like you want to see more of him because you want to see what other like fucked up stuff he does to people, which is so bad. But you see the Deep looking at an octopus like very longingly, so that's gonna
which is
get
still
real
hilarious.
weird.
Yeah.
The other thing I will say about the show is like I feel like it's really leaning into like real world politics. So if you're the type of person that's like, can our comics not have politics? Well, like, no, that's comics are a reflection of things that happen in real life.
Yeah.
And if anybody says, well, they shouldn't get into like minority debates or politics with the X-Men, you're dead wrong. It's always been there with the comic. And it seems like this is heavily going into our real life politics. So
Yeah.
I think this is going to trigger some people. And I don't know if that's like the whole point to get the rhetoric going around it, but damn, is this going to fire some people up?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's going to be spicy next year when this comes out.
That's true. I'm gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, I feel like you're the person who like looks at the comments and then just like taps their fingers and goes,
Yeah, I feel like I never have skin in the game, even like politics. I try and just like kind of distance myself. But it is fun to just like
I like to be
watch
uninformed.
people. Huh?
I
Yeah.
like to be uninformed, not have an
Well,
opinion.
even if you are informed, I'm like, I mean, we don't need to get super into it, but I'm like,
Get into it.
dude in Hawaii, like I can only do as much as I can do in Hawaii. Like, so like
Right.
I'm not gonna like ruin my day over something that's going on across the world, which I have no control over, just like ruin my own day, So,
Mhm.
but it is funny to like see comments blow up over like it could be like a post about food, and then like someone would drop a loaded political thing, and then I'm like, oh, here we go. There's like thousands of like, well, fuck you. This is what I think, and I'm like, this is a recipe, man. What the fuck's going on? I'm like,
Yeah, it's like throwing a firecracker in the middle of a funeral procession. Like, what do you do? It
yeah,
just
and then you're just
disrupts
like out the
everything.
window. Like that's me. I'm like, oh man, it's crazy in there. Yeah.
Oh, facts. All right, yeah. So yeah, The Boys season 4. Just a teaser, so it doesn't give you a lot, but it looks crazy. We also get Jeffrey Dean Morgan, which is sick. The man is collecting comic book franchises like Thanos with Infinity Stones. It is insane to see him there and like bounce off Butcher. I'm super excited about that relationship.
Like yeah.
All right. Next thing we got is also the trailer for season 2 of House of the Dragon. Bro, what are we thinking?
Dude, looks. I'm ready for more. I at least saw. I saw at least 3 people doing one of these over the head chops with their sword, and I'm here
Getting
for
Ned
it.
Starked.
Yeah, it was like 2 like back to back, and I'm like, they're doing a lot of chopping this season. I'm about it.
There is, yeah. We're getting a lot of those characters back. It was cool. I will also say that the day of Comic-Con Saturday, I got to be right up front and see the boys panel with Karen Fukuhara and Erin Moriarty, who plays Kimiko in Starlight, and they were like hyped about it. They said Aaron Kripke sorry to jump back for the boys for a second. They said
Yeah, no
Aaron Kripke is incredible, and they said he's like the Kevin Feige of that universe. They're like anything he does, like we trust it, we're on board with it. Guy's a genius, so that's pretty tight. And then Matt Smith, who plays Damon in House of the Dragon, was there, and he was like, talking about wearing the wig and hey, are you guys excited? Somebody asked him what it's like to ride a dragon. He's like, what do you think? How do you think it feels to ride a dragon? Like, it's exactly the way you think of it. It's fucking badass. Like, it's cool. Like,
Yeah.
and then you see it on screen and it looks awesome. He also said he only gets 4 wigs. He only had 4 wigs for the season 1, which is interesting. I don't know why that stood out to me, but it did. Like, you'd think he'd have like 20 or something, but he's like, those things are expensive as hell, so I only had 4 the whole season. So
wow.
I don't know.
Huh.
Do with that
Interesting.
what you will. The trailer, but again, it's continuing the story. We see the 2 sides really falling apart, and there's a culmination, right? We're getting this big battle. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else come to mind for you, Drake?
I'm reserved about it. Just I enjoyed season 1 of it, but then a lot of the situation just kind of made me like, oh man, there's just so much backstabbing. It makes me feel kind of iffy about it. So, but not in like a I don't want to watch it way. Just in like a oh man, so much backstabbing.
Again?
Yeah,
Like that kind of-
again, like ooh. But not to say I won't watch it. It's just like I need to be in the right mind space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel that way with The Boys too. Like both these shows, they're not like feel good, yay, everything's great in the world kind of show. They're not giving you Bob's Burger vibes. They're giving you like, oh,
Yeah.
everybody would backstab you, huh?
Apocalypse Now vibes.
Right. So, yeah, it looks, we're getting more, all the characters coming back, and it's all coming to this big battle now that Rhaenyra's son was murdered and she knows it was by her, like, mother-in-law's kid. So, yeah, I don't really know anything else beyond that, but I'm excited to start watching the show and covering it next year, so stoked about it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. All right. The next thing is Godzilla X Kong. We just talked about how the Japanese version of Godzilla -1 is crushing it. Godzilla and Kong looks to expand on that universe. I think they're calling it the Monsterverse. And we have a new kind of gorilla villain.
Yeah. And
That's what you call
Godzilla,
it?
he's like, he's buzzing like neon in this. He's like got the pink.
I
It's just so weird. Like it's so
know,
different.
it's like-
so
Yeah,
way
John
better than
Mayer
just
reference.
that.
Well done.
Yeah.
Godzilla,
He's like,
they, them, man.
I was thinking like, man, it's like pink Godzilla. Like, wasn't he like blue in the other one? Like, did he
Yep.
like? Is that a level
Yeah.
up? Do you change color? It
I
feels
think-
very Max.
New
Like
Super
the
Saiyan.
colors that they
It
use:
feel-
purple,
yeah.
blue, pink.
Right. It feels like Dragon Ball Z-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like leveling up
It's
for
comical,
sure.
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off, but
No, you're good.
if you ever watched Congo back in the day where they encountered those gorillas or the
Oh,
chimpanzees,
Congo.
I know that's a great
Congo.
fucking
Good
movie. That's a
gorilla.
great movie. Yeah. It gave me those kind of vibes in terms of like the antagonist, but it's like so you couldn't find a different monster to add into it. You have to kind of go back into it, and then also a lot of the CG. I'm like, oh man, this is way over the top. Like what Scott was saying, verbatim, overproduced.
Yeah,
And
right. That's the
yeah,
only downside of it. It looks
yeah,
badass in a way. I like the last one. I don't even need my issue with this is like the human stories kind of get in the way. Like
yeah,
they're not
Yeah,
that good, so I don't really care about them.
yeah.
And I just want to see them like fighting and like just people just be like, oh shit, or like trying to escape, or I don't know, like, but yeah, it feels too produced, like
for sure.
too
Yeah,
much
It
yeah.
money
feels
just went into single
immature.
guy.
Feels
Immature.
immature. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Because
that
like
kind of is a good
at the
word for it
end
too.
when Kong and Godzilla roll up, you like it feels like Bad Boys, you know, like it's like Will Smith.
Yeah.
They're just like they're rolling up like, yeah, let's do this. Like
I
they're
know that's
best
Yeah.
friends
funny.
now.
Oh
Like
my
they're
The
god.
partners.
the only
Like
thing it's missing is like,
Uh,
oh, they are back to back. I just need like some back to back action, where they're
yeah.
like in a room and the camera's spinning around them. Like, yeah, it's. I mean, the Kong has an axe now. Which
yeah.
is was cool. They did okay in the first one, but it just like
Oh, and he has
I don't
that
know.
like he looked like he ripped off Bumblebee's arm and wore it or some shit. He has like that
Okay, do you think that
thing.
was Kong? Because I was like, is that Kong or is it or was it the bad guy? I don't know.
Oh,
Like I
I
was
thought it was
wondering about.
Kong.
Yeah, I was like, Kong has like power gloves now. Like, what are we doing?
Like, and who
Yeah,
It
made
looks,
that for him? Like, what?
yeah,
yeah.
I
It's
was
gonna
so
go the
confused by that first part of the
it's
trailer.
it's Michael Bay Transformers. It's like
Yeah.
yeah, it's coming out. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, but like is the story gonna be there? We don't know.
The good
Yeah,
thing is, I guess they're not trying to mislead us with the trailer. Like this, watching this, I'm like, if I'm gonna watch this, it's gonna be a leave my brain at the door, get the
Yeah.
popcorn, get the food, and just enjoy the action. Hopefully, the action's cool.
right. For somebody who
All
likes the
the yeah,
Meg, I think you're on board.
yeah, exactly. So like that's why I have two parts of my brain where I'm like, this movie looks dumb as fuck, but
Yeah,
also really entertaining. Like,
yeah.
this is the movie, like when we imagine when we're kids, we're like, yeah, and then Kong comes and Godzilla, like, bam. Like that's this movie. It
This is
really
action
is.
figure imagination movie.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm here for it too. There's a time and a place, and if it's gonna be on Max, that's the place. I'm gonna watch it at home.
The time and place is at home on Max.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
I know. I don't know if this is gonna draw me to the theaters, but hey, I got the movie pass. I'll probably check it out.
Oh
Might
yeah,
as
there you
well.
go.
Might
Yeah.
as well.
So a big video game trailer dropped.
Yup.
This weekend or yesterday, I think. People have been waiting for this for a long ass time.
What, like 10
Dude,
years?
yeah, it's like over 10 years or some crap. I was reading.
Yeah, and it still gets like millions of people, I think, that play it every day or something crazy. But we're
Yeah.
getting GTA 6. We're going back to Vice City.
Back to
Uh,
Vice.
what did you guys think about this trailer? Are you on board with it? Like, I don't know. What did you think?
One word, Florida man was screaming in my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it looks cool. Like they got a lot going on. I read that it's gonna be like more social, like they're gonna dip into the whole social media aspect.
Yeah,
I
because
don't know how they're gonna
there's like a
do
part
it,
where you
but
see like reels or like Instagram or like TikTok
yeah,
videos, and you see all the likes going up, like somebody's doing like a TikTok live or Instagram live kind of thing. So
yeah. But it's probably gonna be really fun. I'm hoping that it's like even bigger. Like I always liked that when the new games came out, like you had more to explore. So I'm
Yeah,
hoping
yeah.
it's even bigger with, especially with the power that we have at home, like the PS5s and whatnot. Um, I mean, yeah, it looks cool. I'm not like a super
Mm.
diehard GTA, but I'm not gonna not play it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
They fall into that category of not at like not stereotypical games, but like Halo games. Not Halo the game, but like Halo games, the ones that define kind of the studio or like the genre. And
Oh, we got there. I was like, wait,
yeah,
what? Wait, Halo? I was like, this is like
Halo
what?
is crap.
Stereotypical?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
wait,
No,
wait.
forget.
I was like, is
Like
he complimenting it or is he shitting on it? I
yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
know.
I took you on a ride. I took you on a journey.
That
He's
was
like,
a yeah.
Here we go. Kakaya.
Yeah, like that.
But it defines a genre, and I think hopefully because of our expectations, it won't the disappointment won't be there because games that we have come across that we were super excited for because it kind of defined the genre. Cyberpunk 2077, the Marvels in terms of kind of like that action RPG situation. So those things kind of disappointed in, to a degree. Some of them picked up, some of them didn't. But when you play a GTA game, like Scott said, you expect it to be large. You expect there to be new features. You expect it to have that same type of, I can be that person in this world. And I mean, we're in 2023 now. It's going to be 2024, so it's got to be bigger and better. It's got to be Tejas. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it comes out in 2025, so it's
Oh
not
wow,
even like it's coming out next year.
even more
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, there's even more time. But like the cars look real. The graphics, this looks like the most realistic looking Grand Theft Auto we've ever got.
Mhm.
Like the fact that we're also playing off like all these real world things that happen in Florida also is pretty hilarious to me. Like I think I'm just on board with that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys do this. I think this is a well known thing. If you type in Florida man and then your birthday, like the
Oh yeah.
craziest news articles comes up. Like
Yeah.
guy
It's like
rub
every day of the year.
yeah, like guy robs convenience store with live alligator. Or like guy tries to cartwheel away from cops to escape arrest. You know, like that kind of stuff is like for real. So do that. It's a fun game. But yeah, and also I think they were saying this looks like there's two protagonists. We start off with this lady that's in jail. There's a picture of her with an ankle monitor on. Very funny. I love ankle monitors. They crack me up. And then there's a dude that looked like they're in a relationship together. So I don't think we've ever had like a couple as like the main protagonist of GTA. So I think that's pretty unique too.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
It seems like they're opening it up like Fortnite, where like you step into your avatar and you can kind of be whatever you want, and expanding to also tend to the now growing cultural diaspora. Big words.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
gonna Google that later for sure. Um,
Oh shit, that's funny.
Yeah.
but
So
it is Rockstar, right? Doing this, and like they do a good job with their games. So like Red Dead Redemption 2 when that came out as well was like really good. But this game GTA 6 seems like it's a little closer to home, so I guess the judging on like did they nail this is going to be a little more particular. Like no one was alive in Old West, so they can't really compare what riding a horse like was like then or whatever. But um I still think they put a lot of care into their games. It should be pretty solid. I think the only thing is probably like there would be some funny bugs and glitches in the beginning
that's
that we're
true.
gonna get. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we can expect it, but they're so good about patching it up and making it clean. I mean, look how
Oh yeah.
clean. Again, Red Dead Redemption 2, Drake, as you played, man, it was
Yeah.
so clean, and like
Yeah.
people are still making videos about it to this day and
Whew.
still playing it, discovering new things. I mean, just Rockstar just endlessly like makes ways to make the game entertaining. It's yeah. I'm not even again. Yeah, to your guys' point, what you were saying, I'm not even that big of a GTA fan, but I'm for sure picking this game up. It looks too dope not to.
Gotta
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. All right. So we got some reviews. I didn't see any of these except for The Killer. Oh, I saw Invincible too. But anyways, Scott, you watched Dumb Money. I really, really wanted to see this, but I wasn't able to. Well, tell us about it.
Um. Yeah. So Dumb Money is about the GameStop stock situation that happened during COVID. Um.
GameStop to the moon.
Yeah. To the
Ew.
moon is basically all that. Like, and of course, when I found out about it, I was way too late. But this makes you feel like, oh, if I was only there in the beginning, like just
Yeah.
tuning into this dude. I don't know
Wall
how these
Street
people.
Beats.
Is that what? Yeah, that's what
That
it
guy
was, right?
from Reddit. Yeah.
Yeah, Roy
Yeah.
Kitty, and he's just like it's funny because it's like he was in this movie. Paul Dano plays him, and he is like a dude that's just giving like tips on like stocks and all that stuff. And then he's like, I think I'm gonna do one about GameStop, and then he just kind of like starts going into it. And it's like, this is why I think it's gonna do well, blah blah blah. And then like it just starts picking up, and then it's also following Seth Rogen, who's one of like the big hedge fund, or I don't even know if I'm using the right words or whatever, but the dudes that get screwed who are betting against the stock.
Right.
Him and Vincent D'Onofrio. And
Ooh, D'Onofrio's in it.
yeah,
Drake,
D'Onofrio's in it
you
too.
in?
Huh?
Is Drake? Are you in?
Yeah, I'm in.
Shocker. Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's great. Like they check into them every once in a while in the movie, and you just see them getting screwed. Like I lost $1 billion today, kind of thing.
Holy
And I'm like, just like and then
Yeah.
they're making a ton of money. He's like, it's just cool. Like it feels like they did a good job, make you feel like you're like it's like oh, it's happening right now. It must have been a really cool time to be invested as well, and then just be like holding, like hold. I
Mhm.
remember seeing all the comments like to the moon, like hold it, like.
Yeah.
And then in the end, there's people who make out with money and there's people who held too long. But I think overall, that whole like um thing that happened was like just pretty crazy. That normally it's never the case. Like that you never get to screw over like big money. But in this
Yeah.
case in particular, for whatever
But
reason, like
that one
everyone's like,
time you
no,
get to.
fuck you. Like it's
Yeah.
cool. And Paul Dano,
Take
he
this,
killed it in this.
billionaires.
Yeah. And the what's her name? Shailene Woodley. She was in
Oh, she's
Oh
awesome.
yeah,
yeah.
she plays his wife in this. She does a great job too. Pete Davidson's in it. He plays his like fucking brother, and like
Wait, whose brother? Seth
Paul
Rogen's
Dano's
or Paul
brother.
Dano's brother?
Yeah,
Oh my
I
god.
think when they first cut to him, he's like doing like Uber Eats or something like that, and he's drinking all the drinks, and then he's like leaves it
No.
on the doorstep, and I'm like, oh man, like I order food sometimes. I hope no one does this.
Bro, that instantly went to my mind. I was like, how many of my Uber drivers or Uber Eats people or Postmates have like taken some sips? Like,
I know.
I like it when they keep like half of the straw covering on top so
Yeah,
that you
or like
like
they'll
know
do
it's
now is they'll tape the hole
tape
like
the
where the
whole.
straw
Yeah.
goes, and then they'll tape the bags usually with the stores tape.
McDonald's
You
is
know,
great
like
about that.
yeah, McDonald's is great, but then some part of me thinks like, oh, maybe like, dude, if I was an Uber driver and I got access to some of this tape, he's probably like, he got real good at rewrapping presents. You know what I mean? Like, because he's just eating fries and drinking drinks. He drops
Oh
it off.
my
He's like, knocks on the door, walks off. Like, fuck, dude. Like,
god.
but
Oh
overall,
man.
really good movie. I think it's kind of like self-explanatory. It's about that that whole thing with the GameStop, but they do it really well.
Yeah, I mean,
Strongly recommend watching this movie.
that's great. I mean, our friends, the twins, like they had. I remember talking because it was like January of, was it this year or last year? I can't remember. If it was like 2023 this happened or like 2022, but probably 2022.
I think it was last year. Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember, yeah, them talking about it because they had some of like the. I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this publicly, but they had some of the GameStop and like the AMC stock, and they were like watching it. I remember like they were watching it by the hour, like watching it go up and then up, and I was like, man, I mean, not that I wanted their downfall or anybody's downfall, but I was just like, man, one day it's just gonna come back down. And yeah, I don't know if they sold it or not, but I was just like, oof, it just felt like too risky for my bones. Like I'm not a big betting man, and that's not where I would have put my money, you know.
Yeah, and there's
Uh,
like a I guess a small spoiler. Like I'm not gonna say who, but one of the characters in the movie is like one of the people they focus on, and they're like they bet big, and they're getting like, you know, they're checking into their bank account. There's certain people they're like, wow, and they show like they're making this amount of money, this amount of money, and then at the end of the movie they show you like who made out with what, and like
mm,
one of the people got in the negative, so like I guess they just held it, like, and it's just kind of
Mm.
sad to see, like, because in the beginning you know how much they put in,
mm-hmm.
and you're like, ah, fuck, like they, and the way they portrayed them in the movie, like they could have really used that money. It kind of sucks they held it too long, you know.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
It's the hardest thing in the world, like, you know,
Yeah,
it's just that greed, like, you know, in a way, you know, it's like, oh, but what if it goes up another $5, $10, whatever, you know, it's, you don't want to miss out on that. I guess the advice is, buy the rumor, sell the news.
Heyo.
So that's just, I don't know, but that's just a little saying I've heard. I try to do that for myself. I don't even really know what that means, but I don't even know if
yeah,
that's
I'm
good advice.
googling that too.
So don't come here for stock advice. That's not what we're here for. But that
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is, I guess, the saying you're supposed to follow.
no.
Cool,
Okay.
man. I really want to check it out. Yeah, it'll be on my like holiday watch list for sure.
Heck yeah.
Nice. All right, what's the next movie?
I also well, Drake watched one too, but I also watched Gran Turismo.
Tell us about it.
Um, actually better than I thought it was gonna be. I don't know
Mm.
why I didn't think it was gonna be like really good, but
Was
it
it
was
really
really
good?
good. I watched it on
Oh,
the
what?
plane.
Didn't look very good on the.
Is that's
Yeah.
probably what it is,
Necessarily.
right? Was it? Yeah, was that?
It
Did you get that
just
feel too when you watched the trailer? It looked kind of like okay.
it seems cheesy. But like,
Yeah,
you know what I
okay.
Yeah.
mean? Like kid who plays video games now becomes a real driver. You know, it's like, okay, but you know, it's based off a true story,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. And I guess that's what makes it cool. Otherwise, it's like,
Okay.
yeah, it's almost like that movie like Invincible or something with Mark Wahlberg. Like, oh, he just
Oh.
does tryouts and he makes the team. You know, it feels like one of those movies. But like
Right,
this
right.
really happened for this kid. Um, there are parts where like they do this whole like it's not bad, but there it's like when he's driving and then it's like they slowly start building the car around him and they're like part. It looked kind of cool. It looks kind of cool, but also you're like, I don't know, it's kind of cheesy because it's taken away from a certain feel of the movie. Like, what kind of movie are you trying to do? Like a Ready Player One type of thing? Or are you trying to do like a serious movie about a kid who like took this opportunity and actually became a driver?
But that doesn't happen in the video games too, so that would have been real weird to see as a video game fan.
Yeah, it sounds like they should have done something that was more like a nod to the actual Gran Turismo, I assume. Right.
Like filmed it in a way where you're in the first person perspective in the car that you would see in Gran Turismo, or behind the car if you were like a third person type of driver in that game.
Yeah. Like focus more on that sort of stuff. But overall, really good. David Harbour, great in this movie. He plays like this mechanic who used to be a driver, and now he's like one of the top mechanics, and like the new up and coming drivers are like kind of like treat him like shit. He actually works for this one dude who's like this new like it boy, and he keeps throwing shade at David Harbour. And like at the same time, David Harbour's offered this chance from Orlando Bloom, who's like I'm trying to remember exactly, but I don't know if he's like the president or something. He has to create some kind of new thing to stir up buzz for Nissan, I believe. So he's he creates like, oh, what if we do this
like head of marketing or something like that.
Yeah. And he's like, what if we do this competition, blah, blah, blah. And then they pitch it to David Harbour, and he's like, I'm not doing that shit. Like, what, dude? I'm like a real, like, what are you talking about? These guys are gonna die. Like, they've never raced before. And then when this other dude he's working for gives him too much shit, he's like, walks out the meeting, he's like, I'm in. So then brings in all these people who like compete. It follows this guy, Archie. Oh my gosh, here we go again, guys. What? I think.
What is it?
Okay, you know what? Look it up. Okay. Say it again. I'm not trying to butcher his name.
Get that clip.
But he plays the main character.
Sure.
And he's like, his brother is like a soccer player that's like clearly has like maybe a more
successful pathway
that has been seen before. Like the dad played soccer, and his son is like really good. He's a younger brother of this kid who's like really good at Gran Turismo. He has a setup in his room and stuff. Dad doesn't fully understand it, but he's like whooping everyone's ass. And he goes down to like this internet cafe, and they have one set up. And when this thing goes out of like the competition, like if you win top thing, then you can like you get a chance to like maybe race like for real. He figures out a way to get down there, does it, gets in. They take in the top like 10 people, or maybe even more. But then they dwindle it down to 5. David Harbour's like, no, I don't expect any of you guys to make it. Like, this is a joke. You guys suck, basically. But I'm gonna put you to the ringer.
Fuck your moms.
And yeah. But then of course, like he's great. And then they have this deal like if you get at least 4th in like these 6 races, you get 6 chances, then you can get like your license to race.
Wow.
And he ends up getting that.
That's crazy.
In like the last race, he gets 4th, and then they're like, oh, this guy is like for real. Then they start like, he ends up being a really good driver. Like it's kind of like those feel good stories. You maybe like, it follows that track of any sort of movie you've seen like that before, but it's still done really well. And it is interesting going back. You're like, wow, this guy really did this. Like, this is crazy. And then even at the end of the movie, I'm like, I've got me thinking like, sometimes they do when they get an actor to represent a real life person. Usually I'm like, the actor's good looking. I'm like, the guy's probably not good looking. And like, and then the real driver, I'm like, oh, he's not a bad looking guy. Like,
did he look pretty close to him? Actually, I know the answer because I've seen it. But did they ever do like a side by side where they're actually like standing together?
I don't remember if they did. I know they did like some footage at the end where like they had some back footage of him like driving and stuff, like the real dude. Yeah. Like and there's just like a couple footage and like a photo of him, but I can't remember if there was a photo of them next to each other. There may have been, but yeah, I feel like it's fair. It's not like he was, like way taller than the dude or anything. It seemed like pretty accurate representation.
More of like a feel-good movie, do you want to say?
Kind of, but then you also like, there's like, there's lulls in it. And I guess these sort of things really happen. But, I'm watching my kids, probably the part of the movie where like you think it's all going together and then something's going to happen. And then it does. And it follows that sort of formula. I'm also kind of a sucker for these movies where like at the very end, like they're going to win. It's going to be great. And it is. So
okay. Did you watch Flamin' Hot?
Flamin' Hot.
I did not. Yeah. I've been meaning to watch it. I know.
Did you watch Champions?
What is that one? I might
The
have.
one
with Woody Harrelson.
yeah. And he coaches a team of
Yeah, like special needs
special
kids.
needs basketball.
Yeah, neurodivergent kid. Okay, no, you didn't watch that. Did you watch
Coach Carter saw that. Something like that.
okay, like that. Yeah,
Wow.
which or okay, like Remember the Titans. Is this
Yeah,
better or
Yeah.
worse than Remember the Titans?
Oh, I think Remember Time was probably better,
yeah. Okay.
Okay, all
just
right.
because like the
Moving
cast and
on.
like
Yeah, yeah.
scenes. Yeah.
I
Also,
think
was Remember Time based on a real story?
What
I
was it?
mean the end of
Probably not.
segregation
So
in
they could make
Alabama.
it better.
Yeah, did you hear Drake? Drake say it again?
The end of segregation in Alabama?
Yeah, was that real? What do you mean?
I
Know
don't
your
know.
history. No, no, no. That was rhetorical for Scott. Yeah, all right. I gotta.
I'm
I
sure.
want to check it out
Um,
because it's actually gotten pretty positive reviews from people.
Has
Uh,
it?
it has,
Oh,
yeah, it has.
okay.
it's not bad. It's not like super amazing, It's not like Oppenheimer or anything. It's not gonna change your world or
Yeah,
anything.
it's like Blue Beetle for me. Like it's
Yeah,
feel
it's fun.
good.
It's a fun
Oh,
movie.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
It's
okay.
fun. Like
Yeah.
the special effects are cool. The action's cool. The characters are pretty good. But it's not like groundbreaking. It's not like this is the most amazing movie I've ever seen. But you're like,
Yeah.
it's good. It's definitely worth a watch.
It's
Is
I
that how you
think
feel about it?
Yeah. And I really like David Harbour in this. I
oh,
think
okay.
that might be it too. Like every time he's on screen, I'm like, man, I like this. He's doing a great job.
Mm.
I think it needs to be said as well too, like motorsport at the highest levels historically is super expensive. And the route that you have to take now to get into the highest levels of motorsport needs is it's a rich one. It's like way more than anything that you've ever thought. And this way to get into it, yes, sims are effective because people learn on sims, but to get to that highest level and be dominant, very atypical pathway. And so I think that adds to the layer of feel goodness that somebody who has essentially doesn't have the traditional route to get into it uh, goes through it unconventionally, makes it to the top, and is able to have that kind of success. You have to respect that.
Yeah. Can you imagine if this worked for a different type of game? Like, imagine like the best Call of Duty player, and then like the Navy SEALs are like, "You're in, kid."
Yeah, that don't
Or
work.
like they have to like, yeah, yeah,
And
Ooh,
then it
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
he's our best killer we got. It's like, yeah.
he wins a Purple Heart for dying in the line of duty.
Yeah, yeah. Day one. Yeah, this,
Oh, no.
this like doesn't apply to like really any other thing. So it is cool.
Yes.
I mean, you did talk about what was that real quick that coaching thing from you're like the guy played really
Oh,
good at
yes.
FIFA manager or something.
Yeah, Football Manager, which is a game on the computer, and it's essentially just like a tactical game where you're essentially coaching all the aspects of the team. And
Mm.
now, uh, real football teams are utilizing individuals who are good at the game in order to bring them onto the team and have them work in soccer real time.
It's
That's
story.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
stories like that. It's like, why did I try to be good at sports? Why didn't I just try harder at video games? Like,
Had we
why did I
known.
do anything else? It's like, God, I should have just tried to master more games. Oh, man, kids these days. All right,
Right.
we got two last things on the docket. Let's briefly touch on the killer, and then let's spend a little bit more time on Invincible, because I got to get going soon.
Cool.
Talk to us about the killer. It's the killer, right? It's not
Yes.
something else,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It's the one
Um,
with Magneto.
Fassbender.
Yeah, Michael Fassbender. That's right.
Yeah. Michael Fassbender. This was a cool movie. It was like kind of a slower pacing of a film. Um, and the beginning they give you like a little look into his world, the way he's like narrating himself almost like a Dexter style, and he's like really like
Yeah,
strict with like how he does things, and like um
yeah, very meticulous, very like
very meticulous.
methodical,
Yeah.
and
He,
like yeah, because I did watch it. But yeah, like even when he goes to McDonald's, he's like, I'm gonna get like this and this. It's an easy way to get like 20 grams of protein
Oh
before
yeah.
wow.
I,
He's got the
for the
tism.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you kind of find something else out after, and it kind of like breaks your mentality on it because normally people like that they can only be by themselves. It's painting this picture like he's completely alone and solo, and he's the kind of person that just does this 24/7. He's this guy always, and then
Yeah.
you find something out about him, and you're like, oh, that's crazy.
He
And
runs a
he's
dairy
kind of
farm.
Yeah. And he's
he's
worried
like
about his
more of a
cows.
normal person in like regular life than you think.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, which is cool. Yeah, because it basically the beginning of the movie, he's on this he's waiting for this kill shot, and he's on a stakeout. He talks about how like not many people can do it, blah blah blah. Like even just the sitting and waiting, and he kind of likes it. You see him doing yoga and stuff. Everything's like very. Now I'm gonna sit behind this thing for hours and look and like wait for this one shot, and he messes up the shot. Like something happens and it fucks up, and he's like, you see him like, this never happened before, and he starts like, and then he's trying to go over his mantra like, you know,
the
he's going
internal
over his mantra, like,
dialogue was like,
reassure.
well, what do I do? No, stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. You're gonna do this. Don't trust anybody. Blah blah blah. And it, like then it starts spiraling from this guy who seems so on it, so perfect, and then all of a sudden like shit hits the fan, and he's like, I don't know what to do. This happened before. Nope, stick to the plan. You're gonna move here. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do that. And it's like really good how they mess around with the internal dialogue. That makes it more dramatic. I feel like they all of a sudden like ramps up your anxiety, right?
Yes. And yeah, and then they start like you get like a better glimpse into like his world and like the people who hire him and then his personal life, and like it just starts unraveling into this thing that's just kind of got you on edge. You're like, oh my gosh, like the pacing in the beginning is so different. Yeah, exactly. The pacing in the beginning is like it misleads you, I guess. It's like you're like, oh, it's gonna be like a slow burn of a movie, and then it starts picking up and you start feeling for this dude, and then like it's really good. Like I don't really want to ruin it because I think you'd really like it too, Drake.
I think I would. Yeah, I think you'll dig it, Drake, for sure.
Okay, I'll watch it. I'll go watch it then.
Yeah. How did you feel about the ending though? Like we're not gonna spoil anything, but like how'd you feel about it?
I liked it. I thought it was solid the whole way through. Like it because it felt like I was like, oh, okay, like it's end. There's no open. It felt like that to me. Like there was no like, oh, can't wait for part 2 or whatever. Like it felt like a solid story. And I guess it could open end to something else, but it also felt like I was like, this makes sense to this character. I liked it. What was there like? Did you not like it or?
I don't know if I paid attention towards the end. It got a little. I was watching it late, and it was a little slow, and then I was like, "What is this conversation like? What are they doing? Get to the point, you know? Like,
do somebody, come on!
Yeah, I want to see her die. Or like, are they gonna kill each other? You know? And,
Jeez.
Yeah, I know.
I know what scene you're talking about.
Yeah, but it was just kind of slow, and I was just, me and Emily looked at each other when the credits came up, and we're like, "What?" But that was my take. But I don't know if I was paying attention really well. So that's my my one caveat to that. But the rest of the movie was pretty damn good. There's this part where he fights one of the dudes in who's from wrestling. I think like something Rames. I don't know. Like
that was
like,
that big dude that lived
big
in
like
that
Samoan guy
house,
that I think is the stunt double for The Rock.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
that was a cool scene they put together there.
Sick. Yeah, it was sick. I was like, holy shit, that was intense. Also, I thought a steak went up his butt, but you'll have to watch it to find out where that.
A steak butt, okay.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, I was like, dude, that guy got fully like corn dogged on that thing.
But real quick, apparently, this is based off like a French like graphic novel or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
And then I was like, I watched it a while ago, and then I knew we were gonna talk about something. Like, okay, I'm gonna watch a little like refresher on it on YouTube. This guy had an 8-minute video.
Oh, thanks for sharing.
Yeah. So I'll send it to you right after this, and we'll re-record this. Shit, I'm sorry, dude. But based on a French graphic novel, and then I guess all the decision stuff, like there's all this like, this guy was watching it like on a deeper level than I was. He was like, yeah, so they did this because it's this, like there's meaning behind this, there's irony behind this, and I'm like, oh, okay, I appreciate this movie a lot more now.
Oh yeah.
And I'm assuming they all did it that way because maybe the graphic novel, they pulled it from that, and then that was better analyzed for, I'm assuming like I don't know how long the
more realistic.
Yeah, and then like the symbolism and stuff, they're really able to, I guess, like pull that from the pages and put it on the screen and stuff. So, really cool movie though.
Sick.
I'll send you that link, guys.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks in advance. All right, moving on to Invincible. I'm not really sure. I don't remember how much of it we talked about, but we got the mid-season finale. Second part of it is coming out next year, I think in January. So it's crazy to have this giant break, but holy shit, this is ending in like a really crazy way.
Dude, yeah, the last time we talked about it was he went to the planet, and then he saw his dad, and he was like, Mark? And he's like, and it ends. This one was the follow-up, and dude, I knew it. So
You knew it? Did you know this was gonna happen?
yeah, I remember they were like, "What do you think's gonna happen?" I'm like, "I think he's gonna team up with his dad and fight Viltrumites." I was like,
Yeah.
"Exactly what happened."
So you actually knew. You're acting like it was your theory, but you already knew what was gonna happen.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. I was like,
When
you
I say
already...
I knew it, I didn't mean like I read it.
Oh, like yeah, it's
I
like
called it.
yeah, you called it, but like you didn't know it. I got
Mm.
you. And I was like, that's cheating. You didn't even say that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna brag like, yeah, I knew it, guys.
Yeah. That would have been a pretty boss move, though. Drake, were you able to watch it?
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's get into
Yeah.
it.
I'm pretty sure I watched it, right? That's the one where that you find out. Wow, just spoiler alert already. You better have
Yeah.
watched it.
Totally.
Yeah,
We're
spoiler
going full
alert,
spoilers
guys.
on this one.
Yeah,
do it.
Mark has a brother, right? And then that's
Who's
the
like
same
a
one.
praying mantis.
This is the one. Yeah.
alien.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy, right? When you think about the genetics, right? So the Viltrumite does it with a praying mantis, and then it becomes a Viltrumite baby, but it just has the colors of the praying mantis. That I don't know.
I'm assuming that Viltrumite genes are just real strong.
It must be.
But they talk about it too. Like they're only allowed to breed with like things that are genetically compatible. Remember, like that was like a part in it.
Yeah. Well, I think it was like that made me think like, are they just allowed to? Like they could probably breed with everything, but they're like, hey, don't do it with the cows, okay?
Don't
Like I'm
breed-
pretty
yeah,
sure.
don't breed with lesser
Yeah,
beings.
it's just like don't bestiality, but like if it has like cognition and like if like you could create a spawn, then do it. Kind of
Yeah.
like ego in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Wow, couldn't say that. Like where he goes in and he starts like breeding with all these different alien races to like spawn a seed, and then like that seed is then supposed. It's literally Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't know. This episode, I thought the team up was kind of cool. I thought the action was awesome. It didn't really like surprise me as much as it just was not what I thought was gonna happen, but there's definitely more tribulation because when they did end up fighting the Viltrumites, you felt as if they were gonna win because that's kind of the way that the show was gonna go. But at the same point in time, it was hard fought. It almost seems as if to me, if they encounter more, they're both not ready for all of that space jam.
right. Like I was thinking, man, if good thing it was only 3, because if it was like 5, they're
Done.
fucked. Like everybody
Yeah.
dead. Like
Yeah.
yeah, because 3 alone was like ridiculous.
Real hard.
Yeah, like even for Omni Man not to be able to, like, he kind of does an okay job with the first guy, and you think he's dead. Did you guys think he was dead? As soon as he stabbed him in there, I was like, that guy's not dead. I knew he was coming back.
No, yeah.
Like I felt like that was like
Well,
the
I
only
don't,
kind
I
of
don't know.
obvious spot.
I thought he was dead. I don't know.
You did the first, like, it was like the big black dude in the beginning.
Yeah, because I was like,
He
oh,
was
they're
dead.
strong, but I'm like, his guts are out, dude. And then he got stabbed. I'm like, he's probably dead.
I don't know. I just had this feeling. I was like, Duro, he's not dead.
It is interesting
didn't feel like
how Omni Man didn't like be definite with it because when he was messing with the Justice League of I forget what they're called.
Yeah, he was slamming
he was
everybody's
definite.
heads.
Yeah.
If you watch that back, he's slamming heads, stomping heads. This one was like, yeah, his guts are out. Good.
I think because he kept going back to check with his family. It seems he cares more now. Like in the first season of Invincible, he's definitely on a mission. Because remember they touched on that in this where he's mad at Mark. And he's like,
Yeah.
why do I feel this way? Like fuck you. I'm not supposed to be like this. And he's like, this is what you should have felt on Earth. And he was like, he's taking
That
it
was
back.
great.
Like fuck, like he's feeling it too late. You know, like now
Yeah,
he's
I
turning
like
into
that
the person
part.
he should have been. That's why I like this episode though, because there was a lot of like good emotional
Stakes in the
conversation
battle.
and yeah, like even like
Yeah.
what's it, Steven Ewan?
Yeah, Stevie.
He did a great job of like, you know, you felt for him where he's like, you know, like, dude, fuck you, dude. Like you left. And then you basically got the situation you had on Earth, and you're guilting me into helping you because you know I'm a good person. Like that's fuck you, dude.
Right, and why
Like,
did you
and
do
yeah,
that
it's
for
good.
me and my mom, and you're doing it for like
Yeah.
these random aliens? Like, how could you not feel this way about me? Yeah, he brought that across so well.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. Maybe it sounds like I'm shitting on this episode, but I really, really liked it. I was like, holy crap, Invincible's back. Like, this was the episode for me. It was like, yes, I needed this one. And yeah, just, You're right. You feel it from Stephen Ewan. You're like, damn, why didn't he love him? You know, he calls, Invincible's mom a pet, but somehow this alien that only lives for a year is like the love of his life and like wants to take care of her and the kid. It's
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah. It
Yeah.
definitely it shows Viltrumites don't necessarily have humanity, but then exposed to humanity for a long period of time, they potentially could possibly have it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or he's
yeah, that's an
I mean,
interesting way to
yeah,
look at
that's
it.
actually really good.
Yeah,
Um,
I see it that way.
I think maybe the situation with the new wife and the kid is like he might not even, I mean, with his kid, he might like this new kid as much as Mark. I feel like he does love Mark and he probably does love his first wife. Now, I think he looks back now and he's like, I fucked that up. There's no way you can come back from like killing thousands of people and then the world knowing you like we're there to take control.
Hmm.
But he's like, well, I'm not gonna fuck up again. So if I do it again, I'm gonna do it right. And I
Mm.
think that's like this new wife. I don't think he probably maybe doesn't love her as much as he loved the first wife, but he's like, what else can I do but not fuck up again?
Right, but then to go all in the way I
I
should have.
gotta just go all in. And but that was a crazy way to like introduce like, hey Mark, come in here. I gotta tell you about something. And then he's like, hey lady, like they kiss my
Yeah,
tongue. I'm like, what the hell, dude?
yeah,
Like,
no,
what are you
that
doing that?
was a little weird for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Even if that's how you do it on that planet, like your son, like what are you talking? Like,
Yeah, like he's
oh my
not gonna
god.
be cool with that. One other thing I did like in this episode was how it picks up right where season one leaves off, I guess, and like he floats through space, and you see him like becoming more and more
Oh,
depressed in a way of like
bearded.
what he had
Yep.
done. Yeah, I was like, oh, you're right. Like Drake, I think he like learned humanity and love and care from Earth. And that's, I always find it interesting when comics justify why Earth is special, right?
Mm.
Because if there's billions of planets in the galaxy, like,
Yeah.
how does every big comic book event happen in Earth? And it's either like it's the center of like this nexus, or it's, this is the place where people learn human emotions and like that's cool. I liked that part of it, but then yeah, to bring in your son, and then like tongue kiss of praying mantis is pretty weird.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
yeah,
googled how long Viltrumites can hold their breath, and it says about 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
What the
right? But
fuck?
Mark can only do it for like hours, right?
Yeah,
Because
but
he's only half
because I forgot
Viltrumite.
if they even covered that. But I'm like, because he's flying through space and he's like sitting in space, and I'm like, he's growing a beard. I'm like, man, like it makes me feel like he's been out there for like months. But I'm like, there's no way unless he's popping off getting air somewhere and come back out.
Now he's
But
just one of those
maybe he was just
burly
out there.
dudes.
You could grow it out in 2 weeks, I guess. And then
Yeah, he's just a burly motherfucker. He gets like keeps on his chin. He's just one of those guys that grows like a man beard fast.
yeah, fast as
Yeah,
day two.
A
yeah,
beard.
yeah. This is cool. The battle. I mean, there's definitely gonna be a moment where I think the Viltrumites find out even more. Like it seems like a lot of the heroes are meeting their match, getting defeated, and then like coming back with more. What's the word I'm looking for? Like where they're just eager.
Gumption. Oh.
Maybe gumption or resolution, and now they're like, all right, we're gonna be serious this time. I mean, we even saw it with Alan the alien, like his one eyeball shot out, but he's not dead. So homie's coming back. Him and Mark, are gonna even level up again. Adam Eve is still there. She's gonna level up, and like the new team that they're showing, like the new Guardians that they have on Earth, like
Yeah, yeah.
they're learning more how to fight too. Like it's gonna be an all-out war at some point. I don't know if it's season 3 or season 4, where
Yeah,
it's gonna be like all of them standing against like a pretty decent army of Viltrumites, and
yeah.
Yeah.
it's gonna be heavy because not
That's
everybody's
exciting.
gonna make it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for a second I thought I was kind of hoping like he'd be able to train with his dad when he's like,
Oh, that'd be
I'll
cool.
train you." Like I was hoping it'd be like a Dragon Ball kind of thing where it's like, because I'm like, how much more could you teach him than probably more like just be brutal. Now that I
But
watched the whole season or the whole episode, yeah,
Mm.
probably just like you have to kill.
I think
That's
that's
probably
it.
what it
Like
was. Yeah,
stop governing yourself. Like rip that off. Don't cap your power. Like you gotta go for kill or nothing. Otherwise, they're gonna murder you. And I think that's the lesson. Like Mark's gonna have to fight like he's trying to kill them. It's like Superman and Man of Steel when he kills Zod at the end. It's
yeah,
like he didn't want to do it, but there's no way he can contain him or stop him if he doesn't.
yeah.
And I think that's the level Mark's gonna have to do. But like him not killing is what makes him the best hero. Yet at the same time, he's not gonna have an option if he wants to save like the people he cares about on Earth.
Yeah. And it is interesting because I mean I didn't read this far. So it was interesting. Like they're taking the dad away. I feel like because he's such a big character, he's probably not gonna die. But then, for the story's sake, that character could very well die when he's like, "Okay, we're taking your dad back. He's gonna be executed, but now you have to do his mission," which is crazy. Because then it's like, I'm just interested to see what he's. You definitely have to go back and just tell them like, they want me to be Omni-Man now, basically, and like take over. Right. But then how do you stop Viltrumites? Like a whole army, if they all came down, like how would you even I don't even think the new Guardians could, like, you know what I mean? Like
exactly. Even more so, the Earthlings aren't gonna trust him because they already don't trust him. So now that they've spoken about you gotta be him and he's having pressure from the Viltrumites, is he a double agent or what is it? So that even more intrigue.
Yeah, because that's the whole point of like the first couple of episodes is like Cecil doesn't trust him because he knows his dad. Yeah, I don't know.
Unless
what?
Mark starts banging a bunch of these mantises and just creates his own army.
Yeah. Full frontal banging.
There you go. Yeah.
Invincible family.
It's just gonna be like, we get back from the mid-season whatever break, and then he's just like tongue kissing a bunch of mantises in a hot tub. Yeah.
We're all for
it. yeah. Equal opportunities. Get it where you can, you know?
Hey, man.
But yeah, okay, so we'll definitely be covering it next year when it comes back. Everybody stay tuned. We got our last 2 episodes of the year. We have a very special Christmas episode, and then we have our yearly top picks for the shticks, which is our New Year's episode, kind of recapping the year, some of our favorites, and what we look forward to in 2024. So stay tuned. Thank you guys so much. As always, share this with everybody else out there. We always appreciate it. If you feel so kind, leave us a review, and we will be back next week. And as always,
thanks for sticking it to me. Us.
Yay!